What's up guys, my name is G Greens and thank you so much for stopping by the channel today. So we do have a little bit of a different video today as we take a look at the coaches poll that just dropped this morning. There's a lot of really interesting stuff in here that I want to talk about today. So let's just start with the top 4 here. You have Georgia at 1, Michigan at 2, Bama at 3, and Ohio State at 4. So Georgia at 1, no issue there. Michigan at 2, sure. But Bama at 3, that's interesting. Their quarterback situation is so worrisome to me. I mean, I don't know if you guys have been reading the latest reports out of Alabama camp, but the play at quarterback position has been god-awful. I mean, not surprisingly, really. When you bring in Tyler Buchner to compete for your starting job, you know it's bad. I mean, looking at their 3 guys, Buchner is one of the worst decision makers I've seen in college football over the last few years. Jalen Milroe simply can't throw the ball well enough to play quarterback at Alabama. And Ty Simpson's skill set is so limited. I mean, they're in real trouble at that quarterback spot. So 3 is a little bit high for me. And then you have Ohio State at 4. The question here is, what are you going to get from that defense, and will one of the quarterbacks separate? Kyle McCord and former USC commit Devin Brown are battling it out there. And I mean, they both aren't even in the same stratosphere of talent as guys like Justin Fields and CJ Stroud. So there will be at least a slight drop-off at that spot, almost guaranteed. But how big of a drop-off is the real question here. But having said that, until Ryan Day gives me a reason to doubt his quarterbacks, I'm not going to. So we'll see with them. LSU comes in at number 5. They're, in my opinion, the best team in the SEC. From top to bottom, I have them over Georgia. The pass rush is going to be insane. The offense looks to be incredibly balanced. And guys, as much as we all hate to admit it, Brian Kelly's a really good coach. And man, you want to talk about a must-see game? LSU Florida State week 1 is going to be an absolute fist fight. Whoever comes out of that one still standing is going to be very well set up for a playoff run. And then at number 6, you have our USC Trojans. Now for me personally, I would have had USC at 5 and Bama at 6, but when you're talking about one spot, it's not a big deal. But I do think that this is a great starting spot for our guys. It's just low enough where you can make it into some bulletin board material. This team obviously has the best player in the country who also happens to play the most important position in all of sports, and Caleb Williams. The offense overall looks to be the best in the country. We all know the plethora of defensive additions we've made to the roster. Special teams should be miles ahead of where it was last year. When you look at it on paper, I really think this year's USC team would demolish last year's team. There's so much more depth, there's so many more playmakers on defense, and all those players who were new last year are returning this year. Obviously, having another year in Lincoln Riley and Alex Grinch's system is a huge deal, so I definitely think 6 is a great starting spot. And when you look at some of the teams USC is ranked ahead of, it really shows you how far this program has come in a very short amount of time. Now, in terms of SC's opponents for this year, we play 4 teams in the top 15 in a 5-week span. So yeah, that part of the schedule looks even more brutal now. You have Washington, who's ranked at 11. How they are not a top 10 team, I have no idea. Notre Dame is at 13, Utah at 14, and Oregon at 15. And I've seen a lot of USC fans sleeping on Notre Dame this year. All I'll say is look what they were able to accomplish last year, with a first-year head coach and a guy that might not even start for Arizona State this year at quarterback. Of course, Drew Pine's out, and Sam Hartman's in, transferring in from Wake Forest, and guys, he's really damn good. A lot of people say he benefited from the slow mesh offense they ran over there at Wake, and guys, watch the games. His wide receivers didn't separate. He had to make extremely tight window, drop it in the bucket throws a lot of the time. His touch and accuracy are both elite. That's going to be a full day when we play there. I don't think they should be taken lightly. I have a lot I could say about this year's Utah team, but hey, we need to beat them, plain and simple. And of course, there's Oregon. I'm actually not as high on Oregon as some people are. Dan Lanning is supposed to be a defensive guru, and their defense was horrendous last year. The offense was elite, of course, but Kenny Dillingham has left and become the head coach at Arizona State. And that was his operation last year. I mean, he had previous experience with Bo Nix, so him getting the most out of him wasn't too surprising. But now that he's gone, it'll be interesting to see how the offense picks up that slack. So yeah, we'll for sure see what Lanning's got this year. And a few more notable things before I get out of here. Oregon State comes in at 18. Oregon State is absolutely in play to reach the Pac-12 title game. Their defense did lose a lot of elite talent, so that's a tad worrisome. But the run game should still be awesome, and DJU was incredibly misused at Clemson. They haven't had this talented a quarterback in a very long time, so I am fascinated to see how things play out for them. Oklahoma is at 19. Just gonna leave that there. And now looking at the receiving votes category, UCLA, Arizona, and Wazoo are all receiving votes. I just can't remember the last time the Pac-12 had this many exciting teams. And of course, in typical Pac-12 fashion, it just so happens to be the last Pac-12 season ever. So very bittersweet there. But guys, this season is shaping up to be incredible. This conference is going to be so much fun. I don't know about you guys, but for me, I know I'll be cherishing every Saturday and staying up until 2 in the morning here on the East Coast, so I don't miss 1 second of Pac-12 football before I don't have the chance to watch it ever again. So guys, of course, I do want to hear from you on this. What do you think about USC's ranking at number 6? And any other thoughts you have on the coaches poll as a whole, make sure to leave them all down below. But guys, if you did happen to enjoy this video, please do leave a like and subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And if you do want to help support the channel in an even bigger way, you can do so over on my Patreon for only $1 a month. Shout out to Nate, who just became our newest gold tier patron. And guys, if you are planning on going to any games this year, make sure you head over to SeatGeek and use my promo code GGreens at checkout for $20 off your first order. That is with 3 E's and 3 S's. So thank you all so much for being here today. You're all awesome, and as always, take care and fight on.